Welcome back. Now, it's estimated that in the UK, more than half of us develop a heart condition in our lifetime.
Whilst keeping active can reduce your risk, anyone can find themselves with a heart problem and in need of life-saving assistance.
Yeah, as former professional footballers Graeme Souness and Hoddle never expected their hearts to let them down, but that's exactly what happened, and they're here now to share their stories with us. Morning to both of you.
Morning.
Morning.
So good to see you.
I mean, I'm excited that you two are on the sofa.
Legends.
Did you two play against each other that often?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that why you're sat quite far apart?
Let me get my bruises out. I'll just show you my bruises. Let me tell you, there's a guy coming on later that broke 7 of his ribs. I tried many times to break his ribs. I never achieved that.
But you two are so iconic. This week, I went to go and see Boys from the Black stuff, the National Theatre. And you get a mention because you're the youth.
I starred in it for 15 seconds.
You did, I remember it.
Shall I just go through some of the things that they've done? Graeme, let's start with you. You captained Liverpool FC, made 176 league appearances, won 5 First Division titles, 3 European Cup trophies, and you captained your national team of Scotland. Amazing. Glenn? You made 490 appearances with Tottenham Hotspurs, where you won back-to-back FA Cup titles in 1981, 1982, and went on to represent England 53 times, including 2 World Cups, and would cap your England career at teams manager between 1996 and 1999. Wow. What careers?
What careers? But also, you keep in great shape after you retire, and yet we are here talking about your hearts. So, Graeme, let's start with you, because I never forget when I heard you had a bypass, because you were so young, and it was the first time we'd really heard about a fit sportsman having heart issues.
I was diagnosed with having 3 arteries that were severely blocked. I'm Scottish. Celtic people unfortunately suffer from coronary artery disease more than any other, certainly in Britain, anyone else. It was a shock to me.
So was this running in the family history?
Yeah, I had 2 uncles died in their 30s. My father had the operation when he was 72. But it was still a shock at 38. You know, I'm 30, I was manager of Liverpool. I was doing everything the players were doing, except playing on a Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
I actually had the bug of, when I finished playing, I couldn't stay out of a gym. You know, I was going in the gym sometimes three times a day, if not 3, certainly twice a day.
Yeah.
So for me to be diagnosed with that was a shock. And this is a really scary part. For anyone watching this who may run marathons, who play squash or paddle tennis or are really, really fit, go to the gym every day, there could be something going on in your body that you need to get looked at. Family history is a big indicator. High blood pressure, cholesterol levels, they're things you must get checked out. I mean, you have a young lady working here who I spoke to her 2 days about what we're going to say today on what we're going to talk about. Her father runs marathons. He's been diagnosed with a dangerous level of the wrong cholesterol. So you've got to get it checked out, even if you think you're super fit.
Did you feel any... When you were...
No.
You didn't know symptoms
No
at all?
signs?
Nothing.
So you just went to the doctor to get a checkup because you knew it was in the...
I was struggling to sleep.
Yeah.
Went for ECG. Nothing to worry about. They said there's a couple of signals that are maybe whatever, it might be something you've got going on in your life. And then I went for an ECG on a treadmill. Yeah. And I did, I think it's called the Bruce Protocol. It's 21 minutes. I got up to about 17 minutes, 18 minutes, which no one does unless you're super, super fit. He said, yeah, there's some signals, but the only other thing you could do is have an angiogram with going at the groin. But if it was me, I wouldn't bother. So a month went by, I decided to go for it. And I was diagnosed with having 3 arteries that were blocked and needed operating on.
Glenn, your story is almost totally different because you're into retirement, keeping fit, and out of nowhere you have cardiac arrest. And cardiac is, like you were just saying in the break, very different to having a heart attack.
I didn't know that at the time, to be honest. I thought a heart attack was a heart attack, but a cardiac arrest is almost like your electrics failing, and a heart attack is your plumbing, if you like. That's what the surgeon told me, to simplify it. But again, like Graeme, I had no idea. I think a cardiac arrest is, it doesn't tap you on the shoulder and say, look, I'm coming, I'm coming. I didn't feel anything. So it could happen to anyone here on this floor. I was actually in the BT studios when it happened. I was very, very lucky because you have to, with a cardiac arrest, you have to be there within 3 minutes. If not, doing CPR. If not, you're in big, big trouble. You know, every minute that goes by, you're going to lose 10% of your life. And if it's not done quickly... I mean, the defibrillators are very, very important. Yes, they are. But the CPR is what's needed instantly, and that's what I got from Simon, who's going to join us later.
Yes, let's talk about Simon, because you would not be here if it wasn't for this man. Simon coming in, because he's a sound engineer, and he was actually working the day that you were there. I think you were doing... Weren't you? It was your birthday, first of all.
It was my birthday, so, as I say, what a gift this man gave me.
Oh.
What a gift on my birthday.
You weren't supposed to be working, were you?
To save me life. I wasn't meant to be working. I was meant to be with my kids and my grandchildren, having a little party, you know, on that day.
Yeah.
And last minute, we changed the date. They asked me to go in on the Saturday for some reason. And if my kids had said, no, we can't do it, Dad, we changed the date. We did it on the Friday instead of the Saturday, and I was actually where Simon was.
Simon, you're a familiar face here at ITV, so you were working as a sound engineer then. The miracle for me is you weren't in the catering tent, which, like, if you're a sound engineer...
There's usually cameras. There's usually cameras.
As soon as you go on telly, you're like, you guys did that right. So, tell us what you remember from that day. What were you doing?
I mean, I can remember the day vividly, exactly as it happened. We'd just done a live programme. Glenn was one of the guests. Glenn was playing football on the studio floor with Robbie Savage.
As you do.
As you do. We came off air at 12:30. I walked out the sound control room onto the studio floor. Glenn was still kicking a football around with Robbie. Went to kick the football, fell straight back, went into cardiac arrest. 5 minutes earlier, that would have been live on TV.
Do you know that straight away when you saw it because you're trained? Did you know what...
Robbie shouted for help. I ran over to help and quickly realised Glenn was seriously unwell. Did the usual checks. Glenn wasn't breathing, he had no pulse. And I rolled him onto his back, started doing CPR, shouted for an ambulance, a defib.
Wow,
well done.
And then London Air Ambulance.
By that time, I'm out. I've collapsed and unconscious. The next thing I knew, all this work that Simon did on me, I woke up in the hospital later that night.
Where did you learn how to do CPR, Simon?
So at the time, I was actually a volunteer special constable for Thames Valley Police. So every year we have to do first aid training. And I'd only done my refresher course about 2 months before Glenn had his cardiac arrest.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's one thing to know how to do CPR. It's another to step up and go, right, this is it now. We have to do it. Because every minute counts, doesn't it?
Every minute matters, absolutely. And I don't think people should be afraid of doing CPR because, as we've said many times, if someone's having a cardiac arrest, you're not going to make them any worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Graeme said, you broke 7 ribs, didn't you?
I broke 7 of
I've tried to
Glenn's
do that many times. never got near them.
Actually, they're nearly healed up now.
It's just about, you know, taking action.
Yeah.
And if you talk to the ambulance service, they will talk you through how to do CPR.
This is a campaign we're involved in with the British Heart Foundation. The aim is to get 270,000 people to learn how to do CPR. Already we're at 35,000. Yeah. That's after a month. So anyone watching this, please learn to do it. You can imagine the scenario. Don't imagine the scenario that you're maybe with a family member and they go down and you don't know what to do. And that time that you're hesitating, but not every minute counts, every second counts.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
You know, his story about getting into him and fiercely going after him with pressure and breaking his ribs, you know, he was dead. He ain't going to hurt him anymore. He was dead. So every second, it's not, we talk about every minute, but every second counts. And you can learn to do this in 15 minutes. Go to Google British Heart Foundation Reviver, and that'll take you through the process. All you need is a cushion to practice on.
Yeah.
And just listen to it carefully, and within 15 minutes, you could be in a position that further down the road, you could possibly save someone's life. It's so important.
There's 30,000 out of hospital cardiac arrests every single year, and currently only 1 in 10 survive. So having early CPR, yes, it's the chain of survival, CPR, defib, ambulance service, hospital. The hospital can't do anything if the patient doesn't make it there.
Yeah.
I feel like this should be learnt in schools, don't you?
Well, it is, yeah. There was
we
did a campaign soon after I came out of hospital. It was already on its way, but now it has been passed. And I think schools, because kids remember, don't they? It goes in and stays in.
Definitely.
They might not need it the year after they leave school, but in my word, at some stage they might be able to. And you save someone's life.
And the British Heart Foundation are pushing this forward with the campaign at Wembley.
Yeah.
David Gilliland was there, Tom Lockyer, Glenn, Graeme. It's being supported by Sky Bet. They've donated a lot of money. I think the donation so far is like 385,000, which will go towards research. So it's really, really important that everybody learns CPR.
So the British Heart Foundation's Every Minute Matters campaign, you want to train 270,000 people CPR over the next 12 months, right?
There's 5 people have an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. 5 people every 90 minutes. That's the football match. So when you're watching a football match from the start to the finish, there's going to be 5 people who fall over and they're literally dead unless someone gets on them.
And it's a half time of 15 minutes where it takes you to learn to train.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that's all we've done it all around football.
Yeah, it's
obviously.
brilliant.
Thank you for joining us. We're so appreciative.
thank you, Graeme.
And also, we've got the This Morning app. If anyone wants to learn how to train, we've got our doctors
All our
actually going
details are on
through,
there, yeah.
through
Reviver.
that as well.
British Heart Foundation, Reviver.
Yeah.
Please do it.
15 minutes.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Lovely, pleasure.